Straight ahead on 12 News, more than just a man with a badge. We're at Plymouth Middle School to show you the evolving role of school resource officers. Then entering new building territory.
We obviously feel very good about the direction of the market right now.
The major marketing effort now underway in Maple Grove and Brooklyn Park. But first, in search of a permanent home, a Muslim prayer community turns to Brooklyn Center for a place to worship. 12 News starts right now. Hello and thanks for joining us. We begin with the growing Muslim population in the northwest suburbs and their need for a permanent home.
There are about 150,000 Muslims in the Twin Cities metro, and many of them live in Brooklyn Park and Brooklyn Center. One particular congregation has been jumping from location to location to hold its prayer services. But as Sonia Goen shows us, plans are underway for a permanent place to pray.
We do not have any place of worship.
This mostly African population of Muslims hopes to change that.
We're going to remove all these walls between here except the outside walls.
Their congregation recently leased the lower half of an office building off the 5600 block of Brooklyn Boulevard.
We want to make it a center of service, not just to Muslims, but to everybody in the community.
The rooms are bare now. Only prayer rugs sit in a corner. But once the area is renovated, this will be the temporary home of Masjid Al-Ansar Islamic Community Center.
Not just a mosque where we can pray. We want to have a school for our kids to teach them over the weekends.
Many people in the congregation live in Brooklyn Park and Brooklyn Center.
The Muslim population in the northwest suburb is growing so fast.
They say a mosque closer to home is badly needed.
It makes a difference when you have to travel just 3 miles to a place of prayer than have to go 10 miles to somewhere else.
Members say the Islamic Center would help to build stronger ties within the community.
You get to pray with people who are your neighbors, your community members, so they can feel and know what are the issues in the community.
We live in this area. We have peaceful coexistence amongst all of the people that live here. So that's the essence of the building.
Meanwhile, the congregation is busy trying to raise money to purchase a permanent place to pray.
Our goal is to raise about $800,000 with the hope that we should be able to purchase a building. This could be an option.
Members of the congregation are meeting with Brooklyn Center officials to make sure that everything is up to code. One of the areas they'll have to address is whether or not there's enough parking spaces for everyone. Once everything is approved, they hope to start work in 2 weeks. In Brooklyn Center, Sonia Goins, 12 News.
And now to a deep sigh of relief this evening for thousands of local Liberians living here under temporary protected status. President Obama extended their stay by 18 months rather than deport them back to their Ebola-stricken homeland. More than 5,000 people of Liberian descent call Brooklyn Park home, many of whom fled their homeland due to armed conflicts.
Once Minnesota's medical marijuana law goes into effect next July, patients might be able to fill their prescriptions in New Hope. City officials say 3 potential medical cannabis manufacturers have expressed interest in operating dispensaries in New Hope. Last week, the City Council expressed its support for allowing a cannabis manufacturing facility or distribution center to operate within the city limits.
What that tells me is that we're in a good geographical area that would help serve a lot of people that need this type of prescription. So obviously, with that, we would be helping people in need that would have a prescription for this type of medication.
The Minnesota Department of Health has yet to decide which 2 companies will be able to manufacture medical cannabis in the state. The deadline for companies to apply is October 3rd.
A Brooklyn Park man is in jail this evening charged with felony burglary. Gregory Bale is accused of breaking into a home along the Mississippi River. Police say Bale stole electronics and jewelry. He was arrested during a traffic stop near the Champlin-Brooklyn Park border. Police say the stolen items were found on the front seat. Well, ask any school district what their #1 priority is, and they'll likely say it's the safety of their students.
One way districts are keeping kids safe is having police officers work directly in the schools. A recent study by the Department of Public Safety says the goal is to reduce crime, but the officers are having an even bigger impact. Here's reporter Cassie Bonstrom.
How's it going, guys?
After 21 years patrolling the streets,
I don't like sitting in the office all day, obviously, so I like to get out.
Officer Dave Broth now spends his days in middle school.
How are you?
He's one of Plymouth PD's 6 school resource officers, or SROs.
I'm Officer Dave.
In addition to providing security,
Hey, what'd you do to your arm?
he chats with kids at lunchtime.
Oh, are you out for the season? Oh, bummer, man.
Monitors the chaos between classes.
Whoa. You're supposed to have someone helping you?
And looks out for students who need a little extra help.
Just let them know who I am, and if they need anything, I'm here to be a resource.
Officer Groth is one of 300 police officers employed either part-time or full-time in schools around the state.
Right here?
In a study by the Department of Public Safety, they found almost half served in the 7-county metro area. 75% chose the position rather than being assigned because they like working with kids.
Yeah, haven't you seen me before?
And many said an SRO was one of the most rewarding positions in law enforcement they'd ever held.
The study makes several recommendations. The first is that the role of the SRO should be more clearly defined. Also, SROs should be diverse to reflect the diverse student body. And thirdly, they should undergo training in youth development, special education, and mental health.
It's been amazing. They're very helpful.
School employees say having an officer on site is not just helpful for them, but it's beneficial to kids as well.
It's nice to have a police presence in the school to show kids that police are people as well. They're not just a guy in a uniform with a badge. They're a human. They have a heart.
SROs, of course, deal with thefts, fights, and other problems typical of teenagers. But Officer Groth says that's not why he volunteered for this job.
I'm not here to get them in trouble. I'm here to try and help them through their day and you know, help them through whatever kind of trouble they're having.
In Plymouth, Cassie Bonstrom, 12 News.
Now to a road closure to warn you about. Southbound Winnetka Avenue in Golden Valley is now closed between Highway 55 and Western Avenue. The closure is necessary to install a new underground natural gas line. Winnetka Avenue is expected to fully reopen in about a month. Coming up, physical proof the economy is gaining ground locally.
Then later in sports, highlights from a big cross-country meet at the University of Minnesota.
But first, back to reality after a string of 80-degree days. Highs this week drop into the 60s.
Well, the holidays are coming up faster than you may think, especially for a local food shelf. The Near Food Shelf in Crystal received a donation of $3,000 from the Good Samaritan Society to help the charity buy food, including 1,100 holiday boxes.
It means making sure we've got green beans. It makes sure we're getting peaches, that we're out of peaches right now.
It takes 150 volunteers to pack all of those holiday boxes, and they start early. That work for Thanksgiving gets underway on October 21st. The Northwest Metro is booming right now with large-scale construction on new industrial buildings.
It makes sense since the vacancy rate for these types of properties is between 7 and 9%. In this week's Business Matters report, a look at the new development moving in.
This will be a 320,000 square foot, 32-foot clear industrial building.
On a 22-acre site in Maple Grove, one of the Twin Cities' largest industrial buildings is under construction. It's a sure sign the market has climbed back.
Spec development is the riskiest type of development, so we have to feel very good about the direction of the market to build a spec project.
Translation, they don't have tenants yet for this property. But the developer is confident they'll find companies that want to locate here when the Red Rock Business Park opens next June.
It's likely to be a multi-tenant building at 320,000 square feet, probably anywhere from 2 to 5 tenants that will fill the building.
It's broker Brent Masika's job to find those tenants, and he's got his hands full because a few miles away in Brooklyn Park, there's a new building going up in the North Cross development that also needs a tenant.
There's about 2 million square feet of spec development going on in the metro, about 1.3 to 1.5 million just up in the Northwest Metro alone.
The wave of new construction for industrial buildings is centered in the Northwest Metro in part because there's land. But access to the freeways is also key for distribution and warehouse type businesses.
We've got 610, we've got 169, we've got 694, so for trucks in and out. It's very simple.
The market has turned since the days of the recession.
Really, over the last 3 years, we've started to see a lot of tenants looking to expand their operations.
Now developers like Brandon Champeau are positioned to capitalize. Rogers and Brooklyn Park are seeing the largest share of the construction on industrial buildings. Coming up, the coffee shop version of Christmas.
But first in sports, a long losing streak is over. In prep football, John Jacobson has the highlights of a big win by Hopkins when we come back. Well, when we say a big cross-country meet, this is a big meet. I mean, teams from all over the country.
A lot of teams from throughout the country, and a lot of good teams. Yeah, so you do well in this meet. You have done well for yourself. It is a meet filled with great runners at the high school and collegiate level. The Griak Invitational is really a celebration of cross-country running, and a local high school fared very well in the meet. University of Minnesota, the host for the Griak meet, and they're off and running in the boys' Gold High School Division, and it's a close finish. Olin Hacker of Madison West in Wisconsin outkicks Thomas Pollard of Gilbert, Iowa for the win. Wayzata's Connor Olson takes 7th place on an overall very good day for the Trojans. In the pack coming up here, Ian Eklund of Wayzata in gold takes 13th place, and it helps Wayzata's boys to the team championship. Then it's the girls' turn to take on the course, and Samantha Ortega of Saugus, California is the winner. She takes it by nearly 26 seconds over the runner-up. At the back of the next group coming up, Anna French of Wayzata comes in 5th place. Her teammate Annika Lerdahl finishes 14th overall. The Wayzata boys race to the gold division title, well ahead of Sioux Falls Lincoln. Hopkins finishes 9th, and Rogers was 5th in the maroon division. The Wayzata girls are 2nd behind Saugus, California, and Naperville North of Illinois places 3rd. In prep football, Totino-Grace has been one of the state's top programs for a long time. Maple Grove is rapidly joining the list of elite teams. Homecoming for the Crimson as they played host to Grace. First quarter action and a play action pass. Brad Davison hits Kyle Anderson for the touchdown and a 7-0 Crimson lead. And they're back for more in the next drive. Davison again rolls left and he throws deep. Watch the play by receiver Adam Brandt as he wrestles it away from the defender inside the 5-yard line. It sets up an Isaac Collins TD to make it 14-0. The Crimson defense is tenacious this night. Kez Flomo forced the other way, and Chris Vondakowski drops him for a loss, forcing a Grace punt. That leads to a score just before halftime. Anderson just gets in on what would have been the last play of the half with Grove out of timeouts. They lead 21-0 at halftime. Grace gets one good scoring chance, but they can't get in, and the Crimson defense continues to harass Lance Bennick. Jake Wilson's hit forces Bennick to throw it to the turf, and that draws an intentional grounding penalty. Davison helps to seal it up with a short touchdown run, and Maple Grove moves to 5-0 on the season with a 28-0 win. Two other games of note involving local teams Friday in the Northwest Suburban Conference. Osseo beat Anoka 42-10. For the second straight week, Prince Crua rushed for over 200 yards and also scored 3 touchdowns. And Armstrong beat Irondale 27-13. For the Falcons, it's the second straight win after losing 16 in a row dating back to 2012. None of the Hopkins football players was even in school the last time a Royals team beat Wayzata in football. The year was 1999. With the 2014 Wayzata Trojans, they were just looking to break a 2-game losing streak. Early second quarter of this one, Hopkins quarterback Tyler Lee hits Tawan Winston, and Winston goes in for the 28-yard score, put Hopkins up 14-7. After the Royals fumble a punt return, Wayzata ties it up. Jake Marsh fakes the handoff, hits Devontae Newdall for the score. And with just over 2 minutes left in the half, Austin Gordon will take a handoff and scampers in for another Trojans touchdown. It's 21-14 Wayzata. Fourth quarter, Hopkins running back Deion Campbell turns the corner, sidesteps a defender, and turns on the Jets on his way to a game-tying 36-yard touchdown run. And this game goes to overtime. Hopkins gets the ball first, and D.T. Williams takes it in for a 4-yard score. Hopkins goes up by 7. Wayzata on 4th and goal from the 5, trying to tie it up. The Royals' Joey Midra blowing up the left side of the line, giving Wayzata's Anthony Clark nowhere to run. Hopkins gets the stop, and they win 28-21.
It's an amazing feeling. Somebody said that we haven't won since 1998, so this is a big win. Our defense came up with that stop, and it was just a great feeling.
We always talked about memories and stuff, and this is definitely a memory I'll never forget. I mean, they're a tough team. They're always tough, so just to really gel together like other Hopkins teams haven't necessarily in the past and get the job done is amazing.
3 wins in a row for Hopkins. They had a 0-week game, so they actually have a bye week, and then they'll be in play again October 10th.
All fired up.
Yeah,
you can
great
hear
win
it.
for them.
Thanks a lot, John. In Local Vote 2014, we are focusing on the Osseo City Council race this week.
There are 4 candidates running for 2 seats on the council, and today we hear from Donald Jackson and Larry Stelmach.
Hello, I'm Donald Jackson running for City Council in Osseo. A united community makes for a strong city. Osseo is a growing town with real goals, and with those goals there comes change. The demographics of the community change, the needs of the people change, and sometimes the community gets left behind. With over 15 years of advocating and being a sound voice of the community, I can be the one to bring those issues to the city's attention. My skills as a community advocate will represent your concerns to Osseo. This way, no one gets left behind. Real people, real solutions, so let's start talking. I'm here to listen. Vote for Donald Jackson City Council.
Hi, I'm Larry Stelmach, and I'm running for Osseo City Council. My family and I have enjoyed living in Osseo for the past 13+ years. We've put our roots down and are actually starting a business in town this year. I got involved in local civil service to help preserve the legitimate reasons we have for such a safe and secure city to raise a family in or run a business. Over the last few years, I've been fortunate enough to serve the City of Osseo on the Planning Commission and Economic Development Authority. It's been a great experience. Because of this service, I was able to actively participate in the $40 million or so in new development in town. It's a true community feel being in Osseo. I want to continue to be a part of preserving that as we honor the past and blend in the new.
And we'll be right back. If you were looking to get your daily caffeine fix, you were in for a nice surprise today.
Good day to do it. Coffee shops all around the area gave out freebies to customers in honor of National Coffee Day. At Mountain Mud in New Hope, people ordering any size coffee received a free donut with their purchase. And while National Coffee Day is essentially a marketing ploy, Mountain Mud employees say it's a fun perk to offer to their customers.
And it's great when they look at you and they go, oh my gosh, yeah, I get a donut. So that makes us happy. We like giving them something because they choose to come here for coffee.
A new report ranks the Twin Cities metro area as number 9 on their top 10 list for coffee snobs. Number 1, you'll never guess it, Seattle. Oh, yes. That does it for us. Thanks for joining us.
See you again tomorrow, everyone.